Welcome back to the Cherry on Top YouTube channel. I'm Jessica, and today I am using a stencil to create a patterned paper background. As part of our Technique Tuesday video series, where every Tuesday we have a new cool technique to show you, but this month we are focusing on creating our own patterned paper, and Sarah and Natalie have already showed us some stamping techniques, so I wanted to show a stenciling technique. I am using a layering stencil from Altenew. There's a bunch of really cool layered stencils from both Altenew, and then I know Pink Fresh also has some really cool ones. But this is a 6x6 stencil, and I wanted to create a spread that was bigger than 6x6. So I'm doing a little bit of fussy moving around my stencil to continue the pattern. This leaf part was the hardest part of the continuing the pattern, and then the second and third layers went on really quickly and easily. When you're trying to do this with your stencil, most repetitive stencils like this, you can usually figure out a way to continue the pattern, so you can make this as big as you want. I'm working with a 6x8 page, but you could even make this 12x12. I am using some Catherine Pooler inks. This green I'm using is the Mint to Be color, and it's just a really nice light green. And I'm using a blending brush as well, and for me, this is how I get the best result. It's a nice soft look, and I can just do that much easier with a blending brush rather than a flat applicator or something else. I am purposefully not applying my ink to be one solid color. I want some lighter areas and some darker areas. I've been trying to make the stem area darker, and then different parts of the leaves get a little bit lighter, and it just creates this really soft look that I am loving. Now it is time for my second layer, and you'll be able to see pretty easily moving around your stencil where it should go, but there's also a light marking showing which way is facing up and which direction. You can see this with, in this case it's the Altenew logo, and then there's a 1, 2, and 3 showing which stencil is which. For this yellow, I'm using some Distress Oxide Squeezed Lemonade. When I'm picking what kind of ink I want to use, I don't really look at the brand so much as the color. So in this case, I'm mixing up the Distress Oxides with the Catherine Pooler inks. I just picked water-based ink that I knew could easily wash out of my brushes. Stencils are probably one of my all-time favorite tools to use, especially when I'm trying to create a background. There are just so many different mediums that you can use with stencils and endless color possibilities. I could create this exact background multiple times using different shades of ink, and it would be completely different and have a different feel each time how I did it. And I know I like using products that I can just keep using and using and using over and over, and stencils are one of those products for me where I feel like it's always worth it to get another stencil. This orangish color is the Clay Mask ink from Catherine Pooler, and I really like how when using this blending brush, in some areas it gets a little darker and then others a little bit lighter. I also filled another page with this design and used the coordinating dies to die cut them out. I know if there's a die that goes with it, I really like using that as well, because using the die just gives it a nice rounded look on the edge that you don't necessarily get with fussy cutting. I wanted to use a photo crop for my photo just to help it stand out a little bit more on this background, and I was just going to grab a yellow piece of cardstock, but then I figured I have the ink already out, I might as well use it and get a perfect color match. I wanted these die cut flowers to stand out a bit from the background flowers, so I'm doodling on them a little bit. I'm not being super precise here, it's more just having something pop out a little bit more. And these flowers with the doodles, now that I'm layering them, you can definitely see how much more they stand out than the flowers in the back. And these could be doodled multiple different ways. I tested out some with some black ink too, and I really liked the look of that and might do it again with that, just to have another type of look. But I decided to keep with softer colors and keep this page a nice soft look. I am popping up all of these florals in my photo using some cherry foam dots, and that's just to help give it a little bit of space from the background, because it is still very similar to the background. So any additional space or dimension, I think helps it pop out a bit. Again, I am inking a smaller section that I'm going to die cut out some letters for my title. One thing that's really cool with creating your own background is that you have the exact colors that you use, and I really like how everything in this layout matches color-wise just perfectly. If you like doing these small little die cut pieces, I think this is a tip that you really should try out to glue on your pieces. I am using some tweezers, and then I have a little pile of glue that I am lightly dipping my letters into. This is what I do for all of my smaller die cuts, and I think it's a lot easier than trying to line up the glue and then trying to line up where you want the letter, because I know I'm a messy gluer, so that just helps me out. Now I wanted some of my elements, especially the first part of my title, to stand out a little bit more, so I'm using some clear Nouveau crystal drops, and you can see how that popped it out a little bit. I had a lot of fun creating this DIY patterned paper, and thanks for watching.